Okay, so um, here come the finishing touches. And I had mentioned that these calligraphy brushes, I call them, they're riggers. They just do lovely shapes and quick, obviously organic shapes. Um, and quick little brevity of stroke marks, brush marks that are so helpful. And so one of my go-tos when I mention body color is this white opaque. The one I really enjoy is Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White. This is a kind of paint that you can paint onto watercolor, and none of the colors seeps into it. And also, once it's set and dry, you can put new color on top of it, and it is bleed proof, and the color won't bleed through. So this is my favorite go-to opaque white. And simple little rigger brush, bring out some highlights on top of the building shapes, or roof lines, pardon me, just to sparkle them up and bring back that essence of distant buildings. Starts to, it's one of those things where they're familiar shapes in our world, and so just doing the tops of the highlights of things is enough to tell the story. It is simply by putting in those white marks, I've brought back a sense of light coming just on the tops of the rooftops. See, I'm trying to make one stroke, and this is nicely bringing in a feeling of cool light. I mentioned also that I like to exaggerate the architecture here and make it seem more Asian and less contemporary, I guess we'd say. Classic is what I'm after, some classic shapes. So I began to lift out here to get that feeling of mist or some kind of mood making thing. And so the bleed proof white is going to work a lot better in here. So I'm just going to re-wet that spot. And then add this bleed proof white in there. Mist. A little soft wet and wet. I think I'll make another one right in here. And how about if I wanted to change the color of one of these rooftops to a more brighter color, because this is my focal point, you know, the brighter colors in a quite neutral, almost tertiary palette, if I brighten up a few of them. So let's say I want to make this little roof line in here a terracotta, let's say. I've covered over the gray paint. I'm going to let that set. While I'm waiting for it to dry, I can bring in some other little calligraphy marks. Little signature marks. Like this little shed, just the odd quick Oops. That's all you need to tell your brain that's a shed roof. I curve up the edge of that roof line, make it feel more Japanese. Classic. And here, the odd line that says it's tile roof. These rigger brushes are great because they're long and lazy. These synthetic ones do have a little bit of spring and kick, so you can do quick things. Gate, post. And I did intend to put it like a meadow. I'm replacing a cold neutral gray parking lot with a warm feeling of a meadow or grassy spot, which will bring in more light or the feeling of sunny interest right there. It helps the focal point. Let that set. I think that's dry. No, it's not dry. Carry on with the branches. Just have to have that bleed proof white completely set before I can put new color into it. Another useful indication of texture is to just tap the brush, tap things in. If those land in places you don't want, you can always just pull them out. Actually, I like that. Happy surprise. And I think that's dry now. No, it's not. So here comes, I mentioned how you can lift out highlights on the branches with the scrubby brush, but when all else fails, you can also come back in with the bleed proof opaque white. Get some back, dragging the brush. That helps. Little dollops of white here and there that capture light filtering through the trees. Now put some cast shadows across this little grassy spot. Now this is dry, so I can pop in a little terracotta color right in there and create a little spot of colorful interest. Yeah, so I'm feeling like there's a stronger contrast and darker little interesting smaller details and a few pops of color. All goes towards a spot that the eye can rest. All right, so I'm so close to just finish and without over detailing things. There might be a couple of, I know what I'll do. To bring more life into this, I'll put a couple of birds. 3. Of course, 3 is, pardon me, anything 3 or odd number. 3 is common. A big one, a middle-sized one, and a little one. No, I'd like a few more sky holes in the trees to have a sense of looking through it. So again, my trusty bleed-proof white. I can come in and create some slightly neutral gray, or pardon me, neutral white. A little bit blue grayed down. There, that feels better. And now I can see through better. It was blocked for me right in there. Hard call because I don't want to overdo this. have too many shapes. But enough, I feel like it's an essence of looking out over the town, looking through filtered light in the tree on an overcast day, with enough interest in that focal point to lead us right to that little charming cluster of buildings.